We're back.
We are glad to be here.
We're very glad to be here on location. This is not actually where we had planned to be.
No.
But it's where we are, and we are really so grateful to be here with my sweet mama doing so well. So
yes,
we are doing this Porchcast, very special Porchcast on location, so you can all hear from the Queen Mother herself.
Yeah.
So why don't we just start with our word of the week, as we always like to do.
Our word of the week is hospital, and it means an institution for medical or surgical treatment if you need it.
Right.
And I needed it big time.
She needed it. So here we are, actually coming to you on location from the hospital.
Yes.
And do you want to, Mama, share kind of how you ended up here? Because I know a lot of people are praying. We are so thankful for all your prayers.
Are we ever?
All the cards, all the emails, all the meals, everything that showed the food.
I can't begin to thank everyone for their blessings and care, their prayers. I didn't intend to come here, you know.
This was not the plan. So, so why don't you share how we ended up in this institution that helps care for people, this hospital?
Well, I had a checkup appointment last Thursday. I was just going to go to the doctor and have a little checkup on my blood pressure and a pain I had in the back. And it was a stormy day, very rainy. And I thought, should I go or shouldn't I go? But if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't be able to fly to Florida the next...
Which was supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah, yes, supposed to be yesterday.
With me. I'm back here now.
We didn't get off. Somehow or other, we just skipped the trip.
No, I came back instead of Mom coming to me. But I heard that the winds were like 30 to 40 miles an hour.
Yep.
And you got kind of blown away and blown up.
I had my appointment. I was doing fine. I got an okay to leave for Florida. And I went down to the front door of the building, and I noticed that the rain was just horrendous. And I stepped out. In fact, there was a portico and a covered space. And the minute I stepped away from that area, I could see gusts of wind blowing, and I could then, the next thing, I not only saw them, I felt them. And that wind picked me up, don't ask me how it did it, it picked me up and threw me down on the concrete. It was not a friend, obviously. And I guess I kind of blanked out a little bit, and when I opened my eyes, there were these two wonderful ladies,
praise the Lord,
looking down at me and telling me that they called for emergency and I was going into the hospital.
Luckily, she was at the hospital.
Yes.
She was right there at the heart hospital.
I was, and some very kind people got me into the hospital. Out of the rain, I was soaking wet, and I wound up in the ER, and they proceeded to tell me a few things I didn't want to hear, like maybe I had broken something.
Yes.
My blood pressure was not good.
No,
and I was feeling a lot of pain, and so they decided to keep me and throw me around a little bit on their CT scans and their x-ray machines, and it wasn't getting any better, I'll tell you that. Sometime later, they decided I needed to go to a trauma hospital. I guess I had some trauma.
There was some internal bleeding, because you've actually fell twice. So she fell in the parking lot, and then they brought her in. She fell again in her room, and that's where you got that. Unless you got in a fight. I'd hate to see what the other guy looked like.
I'm not talking about that.
That's where she got in a fight. No, but then I was in Florida, so they said that they had discovered on the exercise they did Thursday night, the CT scan, that you had broken your pelvis in two places, the front and the back, and internal bleeding. So that's when you were moved immediately to the trauma hospital.
And I told Julie not to come. It wasn't necessary.
She did. It was the last thing she
I was worried about her.
Not necessary.
Yes. And I didn't want her to show up. And guess what? She wouldn't take my advice.
Well, yeah. It was very, actually, we joke about it now, but it was a serious situation. And by Friday morning, she was going in to have this procedure to stop the bleeding, and they had intubated her. So Mom was on a ventilator. So I got on the next plane. Yeah. Thankfully, I had dear friends here who showed up.
No.
So Mom wasn't on her own.
Candace and Dr. Joan, Elaine. I had so many people at my side praying for me. And they sent out a message to other prayer warriors, both in Florida, by the way, and in Indiana.
Lots of people praying all over the place.
Even when I was in the surgery and had some very scary moments, which I won't discuss now, I was very bad. These prayer warriors were successful in having God change His plans for me. And instead of going to God, as I seriously was thinking about, I came back.
Yes.
I came back in the room, and it was like being reborn, really. I'll never forget that moment, or the people that caused it to be there for me. And it was like I passed some kind of point in my life where I'd never be the same again, because now I have that feeling of what it's like to be leaving, and I have that other joyous feeling.
Praise the Lord.
To be back here with friends and family, and all the people that loved me to life. That's really what it was. They loved me to life.
Yes.
And I can't even talk about it very well.
Okay.
Because it's so miraculous.
It absolutely is.
What I'm here for, though, is to thank these prayer warriors, to thank these people that stopped their lives long enough to get me to mine. I'll never forget it. Never.
Thank you.
The moment I remember being in intensive care and looking out, and instead of the revolving thing I was in, it stopped. And I stepped out of it back to my old life. I mean, that's a miracle as far as I'm concerned.
It's a miracle. And when they went in with the procedure, the bleeding, the internal bleeding had already stopped.
Yes.
And I knew at that moment God had saved you.
Yes.
And I was getting on the plane, and I got that message from Dr. Joan, who was there by your side. Unbelievable.
And she was outside the operating room praying all the time. I didn't know she was there. But I just have to thank everybody that pulled me through this. I wasn't ready to go. I've still got a lot of things to do.
You do. In fact, we got to work on the book because you have a whole new chapter.
A whole new chapter.
I think this is Dare to Survive.
I think it is
That's
too.
the chapter name. In fact, I brought the computer. Mom said now that she's feeling better, she wants to write.
It's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending.
It couldn't
Praise
be.
the Lord.
Couldn't be a better ending. No. I'll tell you that.
Right. And it's just a beginning, like you said. It's a new beginning. So Mom is headed to rehab.
Yep.
We still need your prayers. She's doing great, as you can see, and she wanted to be here to give you this thank you message just to everyone.
Yes.
We could name a million people right now, but
I know.
Thank you. We're so grateful, especially we're grateful to God who brought you back, but it was through your prayers
and I'm telling you,
encouragement.
The best is yet to come. You ain't seen nothing yet from Dancing Grammie, and I'm looking forward to a lot of good times ahead. And meanwhile, though, I will never forget this these days in my life that completely changed my life. So thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And
we love you.
I'm still Queenie. Don't forget that.
Crown.
So, yeah, see? But lots of love and hugs and just gratefulness, really.
Thank you, God. We'll be back next week.
Thank you.
Who knows where we'll be?
Who knows?
Probably on location somewhere.
I get around, you know that. I'm very mobile.
Yes, very mobile. She's sitting up now, people. She walked over to this seat.
Yes, yes.
So, miracles abound. So, thank you. Keep the prayers coming, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Love my
That's
mama.
my sweetie. Yep. I'm here because of her, too. Always.
Love you, Mom.
Always.
Never leaving you.
I know that.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.